Qadian, 1889. Une petite ville de la province du Punjab, un homme, empruntant les rues ordinaires de ce village reculé, est peu conscient qu'il traverse la maison d'un prophète de Dieu. Qui aurait su que le Jésus, Bouddha, Krishna, Élie, dont le monde entier était à la recherche, vivait dans ces humbles habitations? Ni même le voisinage musulman, chrétien, hindou et sikh réalise que le temps viendra où son message émanera de ces murs pour atteindre les coins de la terre, et que les dirigeants du monde se rassembleront pour demander l'avis de ses vice-gérants.
What is this message that they gather to hear? And what is this magic that they are so encapsulated by?
The National Peace Symposium is a major event in the Jamaat calendar, the calendar of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community UK, and it brings together people from different walks of life, primarily from the field of politics, civic society and the world of faith, but it also brings together many people from charitable organisations from all walks of life, and the idea of the Peace Symposium is to promote the true message of Islam, to break down barriers between different community groups and to promote the understanding of different faiths, and in particular to ensure that people have a clearer understanding of what Islam is and what it stands for, and the role that the Ahmadiyya Muslim community plays in promoting that true message of Islam.
J'aime l'humanité avec un amour qu'une mère compatissante a pour ses enfants, et même plus que cela. Ce même message que le fondateur de la Communauté Musulmane Ahmadiyya a prêché est relayé aujourd'hui par sa sainteté Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, 5e successeur de la communauté. Un message d'amour, de paix, de tolérance et d'harmonie.
It's a critical event, I would say. The importance is that it's a unique moment when leading members of our communities come together to listen and have the opportunity to listen to the words of His Holiness Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, Khalifatul Masih and head of the worldwide Ahmadiyya Muslim community, who delivers the keynote address. So the format of the event is we have guest speakers, often secretaries of state, politicians, often leading faith figures from the world of faith, and also we have an annual peace prize that is awarded by Hazur to a winner each year for their outstanding contribution for the cause of peace. So the event not only talks about Islam and talks about faith in a theological and hypothetical sense about the teachings, but also presents examples of how those teachings are put into practice by recognizing the efforts of people who promote peace.
It was a very, very detailed and inspiring speech. I just asked him to see if I could get hold of a copy of the text. But look, the central theme is peace. It is about respecting differences, and it's about different groups living in harmony. It's a message that is universal. It's a message which we need to take on board.
Islam's teachings are of upholding human values and protecting the honor, dignity and freedom of all people.
Cette voix qui était entendue uniquement par certains à Qadian, une voix à propos de laquelle les opposants prétendaient qu'elle sera oubliée, aujourd'hui, par l'entremise du calife, elle atteint les cœurs de millions de personnes à travers le monde.
It was great, it was pertinent and it was relevant, and I think it was really nice to hear about sort of the true meaning behind Islam, and I think that was a really powerful message.
And so, based upon what I have just said, I hope it is now clear that there is no need to fear Islam, and that it is not a religion of extremism or one that permits suicide attacks or indiscriminate violence.
I think it is really important for us to know each other and to break the barriers of unknown. It's when we do not know each other, this is when we cannot maintain peace because we are afraid of other people's points of view. But when we gather like this, openly discussing justice, and fairness, and then I think this is when we grow into each other.
People outside here must know that Islam is just like any other religion, that is a positive religion promoting ideals of love, of peace, of positive ways of living, and not just what it's in the news.
And what we know is Hazur has repeatedly addressed issues that are on current affairs, on contemporary interest, and it's in the interest of the nations that are listening to his message to implement those policies, because what we notice is that where the world fails to take heed of Hazur's guidance, the problems actually either continue or they get steadily worse.
There is no need for Islamophobia, because Islam's true teachings are of peace, tolerance, and mutual respect.
Today, the head of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is resolving the problems that the world faces and is telling world leaders that they must establish true justice in order for there to be peace.
Firstly, it is far better if peace can be attained through mutual dialogue, negotiations, and diplomacy. However, where this is not possible, only then force may be used in order to stop wrongdoing with the intention of establishing sustainable peace.
Other things about also this geopolitics, what His Holiness also said, I fully agree, yes, where is coming out this evil and what we must do now, yes.
In today's time when people believe that religion is becoming outdated, Hazur is proving that the teachings of Islam are applicable and relevant even today, and explains it through reason and logic. An ever-needed message of hope for those in search of truth.
Hazur is actually laying out golden principles in every aspect of life. He's laying out the golden principles of Islam and how that promotes peace. The biggest challenge at the moment, as Hazur mentioned this year, is how Islam is portrayed in the media and the responsibility of the media in providing education to the public.
The Holy Quran has said that if a person or group can be rehabilitated through forgiveness and mercy, then this method should be adopted. However, if clemency or forbearance does not prove effective, then punishment should be administered as a means of reformation and improvement. Therefore, the philosophy underpinning punishment in Islam is extremely far-sighted and quite unique. Its purpose is to reform, rehabilitate, and improve. Another significant matter, which instead of leading me as a Muslim towards warfare and violence, leads me towards exhibiting love for all of humanity, is the fact that in the second verse of the very first chapter of the Holy Quran, it is stated that Allah the Almighty is the provider and sustainer of all the worlds. And the third verse states that He is gracious and ever merciful.
And the emphasis from a theological perspective on peace from the Quran and what that means for the community and also its relation to the world at large.
In terms of conflict between nations or groups, Allah the Almighty has given golden principle for the establishment of long-lasting peace in chapter 49, verse 10 of the Holy Quran. In the verse, it states that if there's a dispute between nations or groups, third parties should seek to mediate and to bring about a peaceful resolution to the conflict.
Hazur is guiding the world today in all affairs so that peace may be born.
It was a really articulate speech, a multi-layered approach to extremism in a way, and it touched down on so many levels that it was a really holistic, it was really 360 degrees analysis on what's going on. Yep.
In the event of an agreement, all parties should act equitably. But if either party contravenes the settlement and takes aggressive measures, then the other nations or groups should unite together and even use force if necessary to stop the aggressor. However, once the aggressive party withdraws and adopts peace, they should not be unduly restricted, but should be permitted to move forward as an independent nation and a free society.
In a world where Islam has a bad reputation owed to the extremism to only a handful, the Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community is trying to show the world the true reality of Islam as being a religion of peace and tolerance.
In terms of belief, Islam enshrines the principles of universal religious freedom and freedom of conscience.
I like the way that he expressed his belief, which is full of peace and merciful, and he was against everyone want to put like a lack or mark on Islam, that Islam is not a merciful religion. I liked his address about Islam. This is the real Islam that he wants to show.
Allah the Almighty desires for all people to live together in peace and to be free from all forms of persecution and injustice.
Guider et éloigner de toutes sortes de mal qui peut être nuisible à l'homme est la voie de ceux qui sont nommés pour la réformation de l'humanité et de leurs successeurs.
Today we observe that the majority of governments or groups, whether Muslims or non-Muslims, involved in warfare are also claim that they are fighting for the sake of establishing peace.
But I think His Holiness, I think, always gives a great speech, and he's always spot on the mark from my point of view. Very good speaker.
In terms of perception, it seems that most people are willing to overlook the wars conducted by certain world powers, or at least not affiliate their actions to any religion or belief. However, as we live in a climate in which Islam's teachings are being targeted, we see that all cruelties or wars carried out by Muslims are immediately linked to the teachings of Islam.
It was really incredible to hear about the work of Ahmadiyya across the world, and also the Khalifa made a really important point, both about media needing to take more responsibility for how they portray people across the world, and actually there's a huge amount of great and good things happening across the world, as much as there is conflict and violence that we need to address. That's something that I'll really take away from today and talk about with people when I get home.
The media, which gladly focuses on the tiny minority involved in brutality, are feeding the propaganda machines of evil groups such as Daesh, yet they fail in their duty to highlight all that is good in the world. This is an injustice that is sowing the seeds of further division and conflict.
From the perspective of young people as well, really, the media has a huge responsibility, because young Muslims are getting treated like they're terrorists when there's absolutely nothing like that at all. There's extremism is performed by an absolute minority, just like His Holiness said, and it's important that we all recognise that.
Love for all, hatred for none. It is an ideal this community holds dear, but really it should be a motto for the whole of Greater London.
In terms of world politics and defeating terrorism, it is necessary to accept that establishing peace is our paramount objective. And so, compromise from all sides is required.
I thought it was a fantastic speech by the leader, tremendous. In fact, I always enjoy it. In fact, I've asked for an electronic copy. I was here last year and the speech was equally erudite, equally enlightening.
In case you do not trust the words of a Muslim, let me present to you the views of eminent non-Muslims who are well versed in political affairs and who desire peace in the world. Professor John Gray, a retired political philosopher who taught for many years at the London School of Economics, recently wrote about the importance of prioritizing peace over the type of political system in place. He wrote, "The form of government, democratic, despotic, monarchical, or republican, is less important than the capacity to deliver peace.
Tout comme le Messie promis guidait le monde vers la fixation de leurs défauts, son successeur poursuit cette mission divine et souligne les erreurs des dirigeants du monde afin qu'un avenir brillant puisse être établi.
The world's major powers have continued to prioritize regime change in countries that were previously relatively stable. For example, the West was determined to remove Saddam from Iraq, and the painful consequences of that war 13 years ago continue to be felt to this day.
One lady who's a counsellor here in the UK, she said that not only did I get to listen to the Khalifa's address, before the address I actually saw him in the mosque praying. And she said that I found that extremely emotional and spiritual to see this person bow before his Lord. And she said that had a huge effect on me. And she said when I went into the hall and then I listened to his address, that too had a huge effect on me. And I thought that this is a man of truth, it's a man of peace. It's a person who wants to spread compassion in the world, and we should listen to what he is saying. And she said that my honest belief now is that the Khalifa of the Ahmadiyya community, His Holiness, is on a mission, and that mission is to spread peace, love and justice throughout the world. Another lady, quite an elderly retired lady I met, and she said to me that one thing I found very, very interesting was how he said that all forms of suicide bombings are condemned by Islam. And she said not just suicide bombings, that even suicide itself is a practice that is condemned by Islam. And so if that is the concept of Islam, then your Khalifa, your leader said that how can suicide bombings ever be justified, in which innocent, defenseless people are being killed? And so she said, I felt a reassurance about Islam's teachings today. And she said, I also, when I saw your Khalifa, I saw some form of truth in him. I saw how dignified he was and how honest. She said that I'm a Muslim, but I can say that my impression of Islam has improved this evening. And she said, I've never ever seen my religion defended in the way that the Khalifa has done it today. And there was a lot of international guests who came to this year's Peace Symposium. One of them was a professor who came from Portugal. And again, he was extremely pleased to have attended the event and to have had this opportunity to listen to Hazur's words and to meet him briefly afterwards. And he said that what I understood is that fear is a huge cause of, or the root cause of a lot of the problems that we face in the world. And the Khalifa said that we should set aside fear and instead we should learn about each other, we should understand. And those are the ways to break down that fear. And he said that Islam, the Khalifa, he quoted Hazur saying that Islam says that you should love every single person like a mother loves her child. And he said that when I listened to this, I thought that certainly Islam is not extremist in a bad way, but perhaps Islam is extremist in terms of love and compassion, because this is an extreme example of an extreme standard of love, that you must love every single person, or at least try to love every single person as though they are part of your close family.
C'est l'espoir d'un avenir meilleur pour l'humanité que le Messie promis a accordé à travers ses enseignements. C'est la conviction que l'homme se tournera un jour vers Dieu que nous obtenons de ses écrits. Et aujourd'hui, c'est l'espoir d'un monde meilleur que sa sainteté, le calife des croyants, est en train de fournir au monde.
I pray that the world comes to understand this reality. I pray that we all play our respective roles in furthering the cause of humanity. And I pray that true peace based upon justice is established in all parts of the world. With these words, I would like to once again take the opportunity to thank all of our guests for joining us this evening. May Allah bless you. Thank you very much.
के लिए एक आसमां पर शोर है, अब गया वक्त खिज़ां, आए हैं फल